hello and welcome. Today we're going to be making a gnome. So feel free to follow along. I might be going a little fast, but I'll try to slow down for the video for anyone who wants to follow along. So you'll notice that right off the get-go, I started with a sphere. And I'm making a mirror object. Alright. This is going to be his boots. So, the reason I made it a sphere is so that I can just right off the get-go go ahead and start sculpting on it, making it into little gnome shoes. And of course, don't confuse gnomes for gnolls or gonks. Gnolls are usually from darker fantasy, while gnomes are typically from high fantasy, and gonks are the little guys with no eyes but just noses. Today, we're making gnomes. They're the silly little guys that sit in gardens. They're pretty cool. So, when you're making little gnome shoes, you can kind of make them however you want. It's open to interpretation. Gnomes are very flexible in that kind of way. So I'm actually gonna just go ahead and start a bit of a boot, if you will. I'm gonna bring it up some. Get more of the boot aspect of it going. You'll notice that my mirror modifier went away because I turned on Dyntopo mode, the dynamic topology mode. It'll come back. It's still there, don't worry. It's just not going to be showing up in your sculpt when you have this mode on. It's a little bit harder to replicate it. Something in the, I don't know, reasons. Blender's got its own reasons. Alright. Get a little vague boot shape going on here. There we go. Kind of a cute little thing happening. Let's go with this instead. And you'll notice that I'm going to be clicking out of Dyntopo mode because it's just not the most effective mode for what I'm trying to do. It's not good with creases. It's really good when you're trying to weld geometry together, but if you're trying to get like a little crease thing like this, it's not going to help you. It's going to hinder you, in fact. But there we go. Now we've got some, they're almost like clown shoes, so you know what? I'll make this a clown gnome, and we're actually going to make them bigger now, because it will be a clown-themed one. I myself, big fan of clowns, gotta go to that downtown clown town. Alright, so we're getting the big clown-like shoes going on here. There we go. I'm going to roughen them out just a little bit so they're more structural. those are some clowny shoes. A little indent in this shoe for where his little body's gonna go. That's where we'll put his foot, or well, his leg. Yep, this is just a shoe. Something a little fun. We'll make it more like a like some Timbs almost. This here would be a good use of Dyntopo mode, which is adding more geometry in to a spot that's very small and did not have much geometry beforehand. Just pop out and do a little thing. Yeah, that's much better. Alright. I'll just kind of do that one more time. Strong, but yeah, we'll bring it more into this area. And now I can go in and smooth it out. And it's almost got like a little brim thing here. And just I think I figured out how I want to connect this. There we go. And then, since I don't like how much geometry is showing on the ball of the shoe, I'm just going to go in and I'm going to add a bunch of geometry with Dyntopo mode. You'll notice that I haven't gone too crazy, but I'm adding a good bit. And I'll just smooth it out. I know it doesn't get all of it, it's not perfect, but you know, no gnome is. I almost feel like that's better. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have that be the other shoe. All right, shoes done. Next up, let's get a little body on this guy. We're gonna do 7 subdivisions. I'm gonna make that 50 millimeters. And we're gonna shrink it down a bit. But this is gonna be a clown, so we can give him a little bit of something, something. Yeah. Make a cute little guy. And then we'll snowman this guy. Right now he might look like a snowman, but don't worry. Soon he won't. He will be a gnome man. Alright, you already know what I'm about to do. Immediately, I'm gonna come in. I'm gonna give this bad boy some more geometry. Yeah. It's crazy. Okay, so done that. Oop. Did not mean for my brush to be that big. I'll just go in and try and erase some of that geometry if we can, because then we can poof it back up, and the farther away we do it, the better it is as a start. Okay, and then once you have like a little rough blob like this, you know, it's kind of just roughing it out, you know, making just a generic shape, because no gnome is generic. Well, plenty of gnomes are generic, but no cool gnome is generic. So we're making a cool gnome. Now pop into your modeling mode. And you're gonna do M by distance, merge by distance, and you're gonna make that, let's do 5. And let's do that again. Let's do 15. Yeah, there we go. All right, now we're cooking. Had to weld those two shapes together a little better. We're just kind of freehanding this guy, so this is all just for fun mostly. Yeah, I don't like him, so I'm just gonna start over with the body. And you know, sometimes that happens. We're doing a cylinder this time. Alright. Dyne topo mode. We're gonna basically go and do the exact same thing that I just did, but with a cylinder instead. And it is imperative that we do not harm the cylinder. We do not want it to be deleted. And then have to start over again. Alright, now we've got a little Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. He is a clown, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do something fun. I'm gonna give him some big old shoulders. Normally clowns do not have this large and poofy of shoulders. And then we're gonna go ahead and there we go. Keeping him just a little silly looking. Alright, now we're gonna go ahead and make some big old poops. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can do that on both sides at once. It may not be perfect, but it's an attempt. Alright. So the answer to that question was no. I cannot do those both at the same time. And we'll just come in and sharpen these up. Kind of going gestury, if you will. Maybe vaguely looking like that one Pokemon. You know the one. If you know. think it's Vagon. That's its name. Alright. I'm gonna give it some slot for arms because it's still a clown. It has arms. Most clowns have arms, I think, but some don't, I'm sure. Just depends on the clowns you go to. Alright, and in typical clown gnome fashion, some buttons. I don't like those buttons, so I'm going to get the layer tool, bump that height up, maybe bump that height back down, bump that height back down. There we go. And, you know, just for the fun of it, we'll just keep going. It's a clown. Buttons never have to end. But they will. And then we'll make sure to give a little buckle for the obvious gnome pants to be held up with. This might be looking a little rough right now, but don't you worry. You start rough, and then you get a little, you clean it up a bit, you know? You give it some zhuzh. There we go. Now it's looking a little better already. It's all about just kind of smushing it, you know? And we'll go through and just do that in normal mode. And don't worry, it doesn't have to make sense. You can do whatever you want to your character. You can make them kind of cool, kind of lame. You can make them based off of the D&D characters. Give them a whole character sheet. You can even have them explore into, like, the unknown or something. Like, hypothetically, your creation could go and travel to Mordor. If you so pleased, of course. Now, on the rare occasion, your creation might want to go take a travel. And in that case, well, I suppose you'd have to go and travel with them. Do a little exploring with your buddies. And since this is a clown, well, it'd be a pretty silly vacation. I'm sure you'd have a blast. Alright, back to the modeling though. We'll get back to story time later. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give this clown some silly hair. And now if you wanted to, you could even name your creation. Like, I make sure to name every one of my characters that I make. Even if they're just a one-off or a side character or a background character that you'll never see again, I like to give them a little backstory even. I have an entire set of characters at work that I gave backstories to. None of which are real, of course. But it's fun to think about. This guy, for instance, why, let's say he's the Gnome Court's jester. He's got a little bit of a Renaissance vibe to his outfit if you look at it. At least in gnome senses, I'm sure. Now, if you want to do some fun hair, I like the cloth grab tools. You might want to make sure you turn off Dine Topo mode, though. I make that mistake all the time. And this is just really easy to just wiggle it around, and then now you've got hair. Sometimes you have to redo it, though, because that doesn't look good. So just give it a few tries, you know, find what works for you. I myself am partial to when it looks a little more textured. Kind of like this. But you can do whatever your heart desires. It's your gnome. I mean, heck, you don't even have to be making a clown gnome. You could be making, like, a gnome. I think his name would be something like Benedict Rangerback. Alright, so Benedict, or I guess we'll call him Benedict. It's just a silly little guy, you know? He's the Gnome Court's jester. So, what's he do? What are his jobs? What's his daily life? Well, Benedict eats only peas. His diet consists only of peas and other various fruits, vegetables, lentils, and most importantly, cashews. Some would even say that's his favorite food. Him, I'm not sure what he would say. We haven't gotten that far. We don't know his personality yet. Speaking of, what kind of personality should we give him? The personality is always stored in the face, I think, for characters like this. Say your character's really grumpy, you want to furrow their brow and give them some angry eyes, but is he grumpy? I mean, he's a clown, so is he a happy or a sad clown? That's really where it is. What do we think that Benedict Rangerback here would do every day? What do gnomes find entertaining? I suppose that depends on the gnomes you ask. After giving him his eyes, he almost looks a little bit like Mr. Mime from this, but you know, I think we'll make him a sad clown. He'll be one of those guys, you know? I'm gonna make his face a little longer. Well, I'm gonna sculpt it out a little more, I suppose I should say. Does the clown court feed him well? Do they give him a supply of cashews daily? I sure hope they do. What would the clown court do all day? What do clowns discuss? Well, clowns like to discuss, well, I guess a gnome court and a clown court would be things that he could be in both of. The clown court for the day and the gnome court for the night, because the gnomes always work in the night, as everyone knows. So he's a bit of a double agent, I suppose. Is he actually a very happy clown, but he acts sad for the gnomes? That's what I'm starting to pick up. We'll have his face droop over his entire collar to simulate how the beards work on the gnomes. But he's a clown, and he cannot grow a beard. So he must elongate his face over his coat to blend in. For maybe he's not actually a gnome. No, he works on the clown side, I think. He's part of that clown town. We'll put him in his full clown regalia, even. Alright. Now we're getting somewhere. Just go ahead and give his mouth a little texture to it until we add the teeth. There we go. So we've given Benedict a little bit of a silly, humorful face. And we'll go in and just sharpen this up a tad. Yeah, now he's looking fun, I suppose. And now we'll give him his pupils. He did not give his face enough geometry where his pupils will be. He's looking cute. ahead and mirror this on the exact same empty. Oh, that's fun. We'll just fix this to lazy way. All right. And just take it out just a tad more. All right. His head obviously doesn't have much on it because his large gnome hat will be on. We're just going to go in here, and you know the drill by now. I'm just adding in a bunch of geometry because, I mean, there's a lot of other ways to add it, but this is really just my favorite way, so that's the way I'm doing it. I know there's other ways to do it that are sometimes easier for others to do, but this is my favorite. I'm just gonna have this go up and over his hair. Up and over, up and over. And we're just gonna bring it on down. Right, we don't want that happening, but I do want to snake it, so this is a very finicky tool, so small adjustments are going to be your friend. Any big adjustments wouldn't really always give you the best result unless you're trying to make something crazy. But it's a finicky tool, so just, you know, figure out its quirks. It always has a lean to the right. Or, I guess it's whatever direction you're really facing it. To start with, so it's got a lean. It likes lean. Alright, we're gonna poof up his hat. This spy that works for the gnome court and the clown court. His fun, whimsical hat. Bring it out around his hair a little bit more. His job is to spy on the gnomes for the clown cults. Because everyone knows about those guys, of course. Ran by. Everyone knows. Jimmy and the Strix. Gotta watch out for those guys. They'll get you. In the clown world, that is. They'll get you with a lot of pranks, and I'm sure those little squirt flowers that people wear, that, you know, clowns spray people with. I feel like that's something they would do. But now we've established that, and his silly hat is on. It's time to add some arms. This is the part I don't really know what I want to do for this. It's gonna be something. He might be paying off a debt to the clowns, you know. Being both a gnome and a clown. He's likely been exploring much of both worlds. The night gnomes are quite unstoppable as a force as a whole. The clown troops might even fear the gnomes. Maybe that's why they've sent him. Oh. They know that they've got to watch out. The gnomes are known for something. That's right. But what are they known for, you might ask? What are they known for? Puns. You didn't think there would be no jokes. I mean, I'm working on a clown right now. And I'll go ahead and I'm gonna give him some fingers. You know what? He'll get a few. Just a few. I didn't say where, though. I mean, technically I could put them anywhere. I am modeling it. No one ever said he had to be normal. Alright. So there's his fun little clown arm. What a cute guy. Alright, and that's slotted in nicely. And now the last thing before we get on to the teeth. The bottom. So it's not going to be anything too crazy, actually. Alright, tuck his little feet into his boots. And of course we're going to, say it with me now, add a dumpy. Because you know, you just gotta. too funny not to. And now that you've got your double-cheeked up gnome, let's move that just a little more. Perfect. We're gonna go on to the teeth. So it's not going to be anything crazy. I mean, you know, obviously, as we all know, clowns are carnivores. I think that's obvious. So he's going to get carnivorous teeth. Why wouldn't he? And yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and do that. Nothing too crazy, because he's still a clown. But obviously, gotta be something fun. You know, I think I figured it out. I don't think the head is centered. But now, it is a little bit better. Well, that's weird. And we're just gonna go into here. Actually, I changed my mind. Oh. Ah, it's because the origin point's weird. Okay. I gave up on what I was trying to do. I'm gonna give him more teeth this way. Now, of course, as we all know, since clowns are carnivores, and because we know their diet mostly consists of, well, wait a minute, I said earlier they ate fruit and vegetables, you're saying. Maybe that's his secret gnome diet, to blend in with the gnomes, because that is a typical gnome diet, is it not? They do say they typically see him eating it, or so they think. Maybe he's eating the gnomes. Maybe that's what this whole ploy is that the clowns secretly just want to eat the gnomes with their silly, silly teeth. I mean, you gotta say, they are quite silly. So if the gnomes are secretly being eaten off by the clowns, does that mean the clowns are evil? I thought the gnomes were evil, you might be asking. No one ever said they weren't both evil. In my headcanon, They are. In this world. Maybe if I make another one, they'll be different. But in this world, yeah, they're evil. I realized I could just do that too. So you might be asking, how does a clown get so high in the gnome court? Well, clownish trickery. They're very entertaining. I'm sure you're probably aware. Using those silly little clown tricks that everyone knows. Using a klaxon. Using 3 metal pots, a spatula, 1 nine-tailed fox, the autobiography of whoever you want, really. No one ever said it could be, you know, someone specific. Now, some of these things I'm saying might sound disjointed. That's kind of the point. You're supposed to use your imagination, okay? I'm not going to give you all the answers right away. And I'm going to make sure it's cryptic and vague. Or am I? I might just give it to you straight. I might just tell you exactly what I'm about to do, and that is 100% the truth. But what would be the fun in that? I think Benedict would have a friend. You know, he may be the advisor to the king, the clown advisor. Gnome king, of course. But he can still have buddies. And maybe we'll model that buddy another day. Look at this joyous boy.